What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be going over the different styles for tattooing. If you're first getting into tattooing or even just drawing and trying to figure out what style kind of you're drawn to or what style you really want to get into, I'm going to break down and show you each style so it'll help you know exactly what you're wanting to get into. If you're new to this channel, I'm Brandon from Tattooing 101, and make sure you like and subscribe down below so you can keep up to date on all of the content we make each week. If you are trying to become a tattoo artist, all of these videos are going to help you get to that next level. So when it comes to getting into tattooing, the biggest thing you want to focus on is what you want to get into when it comes to the tattoo styles that you like. So there's tons of different styles I wanted to touch base on in this video so you could kind of see what the different styles look like, and when it comes to your drawing, kind of what works best with you. Because one thing that helps out is getting into a style that you enjoy doing. If you're trying to focus on tattooing in a way that doesn't work well with the way that you draw, it's going to be super hard to learn, which you can do it. Anyone could learn how to draw. It just takes time and patience and obviously the want to learn. But when it comes to tattooing, it also does help if you have a style you're looking for and a style that you've always done, and then just jumping onto that. Obviously, traditional is where I would start out at. That's pretty much anyone that starts an apprenticeship is where you're going to start. So I definitely will start out with traditional designs. So a couple things you want to think about when it comes to a traditional design would be, it's going to be used with one liner. It's going to be mostly done in color or black and gray. Obviously you could do full sleeves of traditional and black and gray, but more than likely you'll have to do color when it comes to black and gray. So using an iPad or watercolors will help being able to create designs like that. So when it comes to traditional style designs, this is what you're going to look for. So a traditional tattoo design will have clean lines that are all the same size and very crisp, and also some really nice shading. This one's not shaded in for tattooing. I created a sticker with this design, but this is an example of a traditional tattoo design. Here would be another one that's actually shaded in. This is one of the designs that I created in the 10-day seminar, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below. You'll be able to walk through and be able to pretty much sit over my shoulder and watch me tattoo 5 tattoo designs along with Nathan's 5 tattoo designs. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below. But with this design, this is what I'm talking about with traditional style tattoos. So you're going to have the really nice outlines and then whip shading in specific areas to make the tattoo look really, really good. Now, if this was a color tattoo, it would be a little bit different. You know, all of these areas wouldn't be shaded. You would have shading right about here, and then it will transition out into the actual color, and then leaving skin tone on the end. Leaving skin tone with traditional style tattoos is one of the most important things whenever you are creating a design. So now that we touch base on traditional style, let's jump on to some neo-traditional, my favorite, next to traditional. So with neo-traditional designs, you have freedom to take a traditional design and make it your own and do some crazy stuff with it. So with this one, I added some traditional blood drops, changed the style of the design. I'm using different line weights, which help out the look of a neo-traditional design a ton. Which with neo-traditional, you're going to use bright colors. You could really get inspirational with your colors. You don't have to follow like the traditional, you know, basic colors. You could use teals, all sorts of stuff to make the effect that you want. So I definitely recommend practicing on fake skins, getting a feel for different colors and how they react with each other, and knowing color theory is going to be a big step when doing neo-traditional, or even new school is another thing that you'll focus on. But with this, different line weights is a must whenever you're creating your designs, and I'll show you a couple more examples of some neo-traditional stuff. Here's another design that I've created that I've actually done on fake skin. This is a perfect example of a neo-traditional design. It works really good. It has really nice flow to it. That's another thing you want to focus on. Traditional, you don't really need to think about flow, but when it comes to neo-traditional, you really want that flow to happen, so it makes a really good tattoo, and you could also turn it into a sleeve eventually throughout your career. So this would be neo-traditional, one of my favorite styles to do because I could pretty much do it however I want. And one of the biggest things is whenever I first started, this is pretty much how I drew, so I was able to transfer into tattooing really, really easily. Next would be new school. So I really don't get into new school too much because it is pretty close to neo-traditional, but instead of kind of like focusing on getting all the proportions correct on designs, you could go crazy and make like huge eyes, huge heads on your designs and just make them look nuts. So the only real drawing I have involving this was a seminar that I took from Dave Tevenall, and I followed along with him and drew one of his designs with NeoTraditional. So I'll show you that right now. So this is the design that I drew with him. I'd say that this is new school, you know, the eyes, the elongated teeth. This would be new school. So pretty much the same as NeoTraditional. Different line weights are important. You just kind of draw with elongated features to make it look all crazy. This is not my design. I followed along with him. I just want to point that out. It was a seminar and we were drawing the exact same thing he was, so I did not create this design out of my head. This was done for a seminar purpose. So if you want to check out some of his stuff, Dave Tevenall, he's great at this style. It's just not something I really do on a daily basis. I prefer NeoTraditional over new school, but this is what it would look like if you were wanting to get into that. If this is how you draw, new school is the way to go for you. Next would be traditional Japanese style tattoos. So this is pretty much the basis of any Japanese style tattoo. It's traditional, but Japanese style has a little bit of a twist to it. So, you know, it's a little bit more detailed when it comes to, you know, the design of it. You're going to do a lot of dragons, tigers, things like that, which is a super fun style to get into. I really enjoy doing Japanese traditional style tattoos. I'm actually working on a leg sleeve to where I've done a dragon on this girl, and I already did this tiger, and we're going to eventually do an Oni mask, which is super cool. I'm super pumped to finish that sleeve. But this is Japanese traditional, which is another great style if you're into that sort of artwork to get into for sure. And last but not least, we're going to touch base on realism. So with realism, you can literally just pull a picture of design online and mess around with it to get the idea of how you want it. So you know, I chose this picture, but I didn't really like how his eyes were. They look a little cross-eyed. So I changed it around, added this over top of it, but used a different picture underneath. And this is how you make realism tattoos. I'm going to quickly touch base on this because this isn't a video explaining exactly how I do these things. It's just telling you the different styles of tattooing. But this would be realism. You really don't have to worry about drawing at all. You just find a good picture, make a good reference with either Photoshop, Procreate, things like that. You don't really have to be able to draw this perfectly. Don't even try to draw it. Just print it off, stencil it, and be able to tattoo it. Drawing's good if you want to practice realism, but never try to draw a picture for your stencil. You know, just pull a picture of it online. If you're going with roses, I just touched base on this with another video. I just choose roses. I'll just find pictures of roses out and about and then just literally take pictures of them and use this as a reference. I could just turn this black and gray really quickly and use this as a reference for any tattoo I do for realism in the future. So this is how quick it is, and then there's a tattoo that you could do on realism tomorrow. But these are the different styles when it comes to tattooing, and the biggest question I have for you guys would be, what style do you do mostly right now? And what questions do you have on the styles that you're doing right now? Leave a comment down below so I could check them out and have some ideas for the future videos that I can make just for you guys. As always, I hope this was able to help you out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.